We back for another yesterday, man. We got Deadcode Sonic Horror AU lore explained, man. By the way, or CEO, of course. I think that's how you say it, man. But yeah, listen, man, it's gonna be my first time reacting to this dude, bruh. And I have high hopes. What the shit did I just do? Oh my gosh. But alright, man, without further ado, let's get straight to the dude. Okay. Let's get it. The fuck?
A bunch of you guys have been asking me to cover this Sonic horror AU called Deadcode, created by Mia Ogo, I believe is how you say it, but I'm just going to call them.
Boy, I look good.
This AU has like a very interesting premise.
Shit.
In short, imagine a world where Metal Sonic actually completes his mission, which of course is to not only take Sonic's life, but to fully replace him. And this AU doesn't waste any time, with our first panel being Metal.
Oh, is that Metal Sonic or is that the real Sonic, bro? What the fuck, man?
Wearing our blue hedgehog like a literal
oh my gosh. Ugh. Jeez, man. God.
Suit. But before we push forward, let's go ahead and look at some of the prequel scenes so that we can actually understand how we got to this point in the series. Now, earlier on the day where Sonic lost his life, he was doing a tarot reading with Amy. And the 3 cards that he pulled were supposed to reflect his past, present, and future. And everything looked pretty good until Sonic pulled the card called the Tower. And this card basically signifies like sudden disruptive change, upheaval, and destruction. And while Amy seemed to be worried about this, Sonic still remained his normal goofy self. And we see that Sonic continues to remain kind of carefree even when he was in a death battle with Metal only hours later. But this smile that we see on his face right here doesn't last much longer. We see these two clash for a while, even hitting this iconic headbutt from the old school cartoon. But it looks like Sonic let his laid-back nature actually get the better of him and eventually allowed Metal to get a lucky hit on him. And that was the beginning of the end for Sonic.
Ah, man, I can't see my goal sad like this, bruh. Oh, man, come on, bruh. See, this could never happen. Listen, in all reality, bruh, now, the way that I see it, this nigga Sonic is him. Dead ass. I genuinely feel like he holds back a lot. Not saying he was holding back against Metal, but I just don't think there's anybody that can match his speed when he's fully locked in. I'm just being real, bro. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, this nigga Sonic can't lose, bro. He can't lose. You know what I mean? Shit.
Now that Metal had the upper hand,
call it plot armor.
He took this chance to take Sonic out good. But this is where things actually start to get interesting. After the fight, Metal didn't just gloat or return to Eggman. He literally crawled inside of Sonic's skin, and now he's like fully convinced that he is Sonic. Now, follow me as we go through each of these chapters and learn why Metal is behaving this way and how each of Sonic's friends actually respond to the situation. And in chapter 2, we get to see that the first character to find Metal is Tails. And we see that Metal greets him by actually wrapping him in a hug. And as you can tell by his face right here, Tails is completely caught off guard by this. Amy, on the other hand, was not at all and comes in swinging her hammer, knocking Metal clean out. Next, you see that they have removed Sonic's skin off of Metal.
Gang. So you telling me this nigga, well, I mean, he was caught off guard. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I don't know if Amy just casually has Mjolnir, you feel me? But that hammer is strong as shit, bro. I ain't gonna cap, bro. Like, she might be top 3 in the verse, to be honest, bro.
They locked him up. And this is where we find out that Eggman may not have had anything to do with this. Tails uses some of his technology to get into Metal's code, and he learns that Eggman's coding is no longer there, meaning that Metal wasn't under his control at all. And I think what's more important is that Tails realizes that Metal truly believes that he is Sonic, but he doesn't want to tell the other members of his crew just yet. Amy, on the other hand, goes ahead and calls everybody to let them know that Sonic has passed away, but she doesn't give them all the details over the phone. In the next chapter, we get this brief animation.
The fuck is this? No, don't leave me. Don't leave me, please. Oh my. Oh, hell no, bro. Get this clanker out of here, man. Oh my gosh.
And this is basically just a nightmare that Amy had, which seems to symbolize the end of her relationship
This
with
has
Sonic
me
and
so
the fact that
hyped
Metal has basically taken his place.
For Sonic movie
After
3
that, we see
4.
that Amy meets up with Shadow, and she explains that Metal was the one to take Sonic out, and with his code been all messed up, they're not even sure if Eggman had anything to do with it. But hearing this, Shadow still decides to go ahead and get Rouge and seek out Eggman anyway, because he knows that if Eggman gets word that Sonic is gone, he's going to take that chance to actually attack the crew. Meanwhile, we get this.
Bro, I need Shadow to go on some Sasuke shit, bro. You know what I mean? Get your nigga, revenge this nigga, bro. That ass, bro.
Mr. Tails, and he's learned that Metal Sonic almost has all of Sonic's memories. And it's kind of weird because it almost seems like when they butted head, like Sonic transferred his memories over to Metal or either knocked something loose in his programming. I also find it kind of cute that Rouge is over here in the back kind of watching over Tails acting like a mother figure because Tails is starting to isolate. And this reminds Rouge a lot of what Shadow kind of does when he's kind of feeling down or when he's stressed. And I think this is why she actually gets Shadow to speak with Tails. If anybody knows about grief and loss, it's definitely him. And for those of you that may not know what I'm talking about, this little girl here at the bottom of the panel is actually Maria Robotnik, and she was basically Shadow's best friend. And if you watched any of my other Sonic videos, you've already probably seen me kind of give her backstory, but basically she lost her life right in front of Shadow. Now, surprisingly, when Shadow does go and speak with Tails, he actually does a pretty good job, especially considering that he's not great like with his emotions, and he lets.
I ain't gonna lie, Shadow, you be whooping this nigga's ass every fucking like Sonic movie or show, bro. You know what I mean? You definitely need to comfort this nigga. You know what I mean? Cause damn. Bro, if y'all be seeing how Shadow be treating Tails, bro, it's actually diabolical, bro. Like, that ass, bro. That nigga do not give a fuck.
Tails know that life will go on and you have to keep going. He also tells him to remember that as long as you keep Sonic's memory alive, they will never truly be gone. And at the bottom of the panel, we can see that Tails does seem to actually appreciate the talk. But later that night, he ended up sneaking out and going to Eggman's base, which he learned from recently. And it looks like Tails is looking for material to repair Metal, but as he's searching, he steps onto something wet, and it turns out to be what is left of Eggman. Tails also finds this type of pistol here, and after looking around, he learned that this weapon was made by Eggman, and instead of using bullets, it actually uses negative emotions, creating something like chaos energy. And while the weapon doesn't look like much, each shot can penetrate almost anything. After gathering up all the items that he needed, we see Tails goes back to his lab and starts to fix up Metal. And his theory is that now that Metal doesn't have something giving him orders, and also due to all the damage that he's taken, Metal has gone back to his core programming, which of course was to be Sonic. And this is where we see that Tails has started to see Metal as the real Sonic, even going as far as calling him his brother.
Oh my gosh, damn, I don't know how to feel about this, bro. Okay, let's say one of y'all's friends got like fucking slaughtered, but it was by a robot that literally has the same memories as him, acts just like him. You know what I mean? And damn near looks like him. Is y'all fucking with that, bro? Cause it's like, damn, like it's not them, but it is them. You get me? Like, I don't know, bro. Cause that's so like, I don't know how to feel about these, bro. I do know, man. I'm be honest. I keep them around though. Just why not, bro? Because it's like, okay, Metal, he was programmed to kill Sonic. It wasn't like Metal wanted to kill Sonic himself. You know what I mean? So Metal's not a bad dude. He's not really even a thing. I mean, a person. He's just a thing. So he doesn't truly have his own emotions, man, you know? I don't know, that's just sad, though.
Yeah, so this may be another one of those AUs where Tails has completely lost his mind. When looking on Instagram, I also saw that the creator added more backstory with Eggman and Metal, and judging by this image here, it seems like Metal attacked Eggman. And then we see this side where Metal says, I think I unlocked some part of my brain that I shouldn't have. And then he says to Eggman, your input is no longer wanted, which explains why he attacked Robotnik in the first place.
Shit.
The next chapter is where things start to get weird, and we see Amy holding a picture of her and Sonic, and then Metal comes up and boops her on the nose, just like Sonic used to do. But
get away from her!
Amy is not having any of that, and immediately pulls out a blade in an attempt to protect herself and Tails. But before she can attack, Tails screams for her to stop, revealing that he's the one that actually fixed Metal up. And this is where we learn that not only does Metal think that he's Sonic, he actually speaks and sounds just like Sonic. And this isn't something that Tails programmed into him, but something that Metal is doing all on his own. And of course, this freaks out Amy even more. So much so that she sends a text out to the rest of the crew, telling them that she needs help now. And we all know that everybody in this crew is pretty fast, so they get to the base quick and burst through the door like bats out of hell, ready to beat Metal down. Shadow actually being the one to lead the charge, grabbing Metal by the throat, obviously thinking that he was there to take out more of his friends. And while this is a tense moment, it's also kind of funny in a way, because since Metal thinks that he's Sonic, he's just super confused by the way all his friends are acting. But before things can get really out of control, we see that Tails yells for them all to stop and holds up the weapon he took from Eggman's base and aims it at Shadow. And seeing this, a small fight breaks out with Metal attacking Shadow and Knuckles before Tails gets in between everybody to stop the fight. And then we see Tails repeating the phrase "never again" over and over and over, meaning that he won't lose Sonic ever again. And then he tells Metal to run and that he'll find him later. And then to my surprise, Tails actually starts fighting against his friends, even going as far as using the ammunition from the pistol to start a small explosion. And in doing so, he gives Metal the time that he needed to get away. Luckily though, the fake chaos energy was too weak to do any real damage to Shadow.
Weak ass gun, nigga. Fuck.
Only kind of giving him a bloody nose. And while most of the team is unsure what to do, Amy doesn't waste any time and is already grabbing her coat and getting ready to go save Tails.
Why does nigga Knuckles not
has fully lost his mind or has been manipulated by Metal? The next chapter shows the crew searching, but it does not go well with 28 days passing without them finding any trace of Metal or Tails. But we also get to see the perspective of Tails at this moment, and he has really gone over the edge at this point. He's seeing images of both Metal and Sonic, and he has basically made it his mission to keep Metal safe, stating they won't hurt you anymore. Something else that I find interesting is that Tails keeps running into Batniks that are deactivated, and we learn that Metal actually forced them all to shut down when he took out Eggman, which kind of makes sense because now he thinks he's Sonic and he's doing this probably to keep his friends safe. Back over with Amy and the crew, we see that they are still out looking for Tails when Amy finds a bag of lifesavers. And this is actually important because those were Tails' favorite snack, and this lets Amy know that they may be close to him. But since they don't want to actually lose the trail again, the crew decides to split up, which is always a terrible idea, by the way. And while most of the crew isn't able to find anything, Amy actually gets lucky and tracks Tails down. Although Tails is unwilling to actually go back with Amy because she still believes that Metal is manipulating him. But Tails is screaming at her to listen to him, saying that Metal isn't lying and to please just let him explain. And surprisingly, Amy is actually willing to hear him out. The next chapter is basically Tails confirming that Metal is just like Sonic now, saying that he talks, acts, and keeps me safe, just like Sonic used to. But most importantly, we see that Tails has gone even more crazy. When looking at Mia's Instagram, I was actually able to find some of the character stat sheets, and we see Tails first. We can see that his sanity is all the way down to about 1.5. And I also love that the creator gave us a close-up of his eyes, and they say that something is missing. And when you really do take a close look, his eyes do look kind of empty. He's also wearing Sonic's scarf, kind of showcasing just how much he misses Sonic. And more importantly, I think how Sonic's death really broke him. Amy, on the other hand, is still doing great on all her stats, but she's on the edge right now as well, ready to snap at any moment. Unfortunately though, we don't get to see any other character stat sheets yet, but I would love to see how Knuckles is doing, because even though he plays it tough, you know that he's probably missing something.
I feel like Knuckles probably like...
Now, going back over to Amy, we see that she's still trying to get Tails to come back home with her, but he starts to freak out, thinking that Metal will be attacked if they go back, and he won't actually allow Amy to call the other crew members. But luckily, when Amy made the phone call and then had to hang up abruptly, Knuckles knew that something was wrong, and they rushed over to help her. And I love the fact that when Knuckles actually finds him, he doesn't yell or freak out. All he does is pick Tails up, just happy that they actually found him and he's safe. But Shadow, on the other hand, does not follow suit. All he wants to know is where Metal is at, because he can't imagine letting what he did slide. And in the next panel, we get this creepy moment where everybody points behind Shadow, and we see that Metal is right there, saying, "I'm right behind you." And the next scene goes just as you would expect, with Shadow.
Bitch, hit you with that mighty right hook, boy. Come on, man, fuck all that shit. You can't pretend to be Sonic, nigga. There's only one real Sonic, nigga. Real nigga, fuck that shit, nigga. Hedgehog for life, nigga.
Starting to rain blows down on Metal. But all the while, Metal Sonic is just pleading with him to talk to him, which is very much a situation that the real Sonic has been. Metal Sonic is just
come on, I also like fighting.
Pleading with him to talk to him, which is very much a situation that the real Sonic has been in with Shadow quite a few times if you think about it. And seeing that Shadow is not going to be able to be reasoned with, we see that Tails steps in again, raising his weapon and begging Amy to trust him. And when it starts to look like Amy may have lied when she said that she believed his theory about Metal, Tails actually turns the weapon on her, screaming that he never wanted anybody to get hurt, he simply wanted to help everyone. And just as a little side note, I think this scene right here really shows us that this is one of those AUs where Tails is very much still a very young child. And I think that fact, plus the point that Tails is obviously going a little bit crazy, Shadow finds that the only thing he can do is knock him out, apologizing to Amy for having to use that type of force on the little dude. After all that goes down, we see Shadow and Knuckles look over at Metal and tell him that he can stop acting now, that Tails can no longer see the show. And if you're like me, this is the moment that you probably thought Metal was going to go ahead and show his true colors, but he simply says that he really did just want to talk to them all. But seeing that they're basically trying to jump him 4v1, Metal decides to call some backup of his own. And you can see at the bottom of the panel here that he calls out to all offensive units and tells them that there's a new directive. And he's basically ordering them to keep Shadow and the others busy, and most importantly, not to terminate any of them. And I think this right here is probably one of the biggest hints that Metal isn't just pretending, but he does actually care about these people in some way. And while we see Amy is here trying to get Tails to safety, we also see a Metal version of Shadow come rushing out of the forest, ready to join the fight. And while they're all distracted, Metal seems to knock out Amy, saying that he just wants a chance to speak with her before she completely blacks out. And then we get this image here of her resting in Metal's arms. And low-key, in this image, he does look like he's riding that line between hero and villain. But this next scene actually changed my mind, because we see Metal gently lay Amy down in the snow and place this flower in her hair. And then I may be reaching here, but the way that he's holding his hands almost looks like he's praying. And based on the creator's notes, it seems like he's hoping that there's even a small chance that Amy and the others will accept him. Which is why I think he's imagining this image of Amy smiling at him in the background. But this is where the AU takes another interesting twist. While Metal is having this moment, we get this panel, and it seems like Sonic's spirit is haunting him or is inside of him in some way. We see the silhouette of Sonic here saying, "Gosh, what a moving display." And then we see Sonic laugh at him before asking how Metal's next attack is going to look. He says, "Are you gonna slash me, drown me, deface me?" And then we see Sonic just start to cry. And the caption for this panel over on Instagram is interesting because it says, "A blocked out heart. You might have stolen everything, but you forgot something. A heart," said the heartless husk. And I think this shows that even though Metal may truly believe that he's Sonic, there's still like memories of what he did in the back of his mind. And no matter how hard he tries, he can never actually forget them. So in a weird way, it's almost like Sonic's ghost is literally in the machine that is Metal Sonic. We get more evidence of my theory in the next panel, where Metal is telling Sonic that he isn't a killer, only for the ghost to keep taunting him, calling Metal a killing machine. And then we see Sonic take it even further, saying that Metal simply can't control himself. Because this is
I ain't gonna lie, this nigga Sonic's a rage baiter. I'm trying to tell y'all, bro, this nigga Sonic is a rage baiter of hell, dude. Genuinely. If Sonic was evil, bro, oh my gosh, bro. That nigga would be horrible. Genuinely, bro. That nigga wouldn't give no fucks at all. Nigga would be dancing on your grave. You know what I'm saying? Talking all types of shit, bro. I'm telling you, bro, this nigga don't care.
He was made for in the first place. And this whole scene is so interesting to me because Metal is basically just arguing with himself here, trying to come to terms with if he's truly alive or if he's just a robot playing pretend, trying to take somebody else's life and make it his own. And in my opinion, that is a very cool concept for AU.
Wow, man.
Now, in the final panels, we actually see that Amy finally wakes up, and of course she's a bit confused, but then she sees Metal is right in front of her, and he asks if she remembers this place. Now, initially, I thought that Metal remembered this place because he was using Sonic's memories, but when we look at this panel here, it actually shows us that Amy and Metal came to this place together. And not only that, but we see that Amy was telling him that she doesn't think that he's a bad person.
Wait, what? So Amy cheated with a fucking clanker? Is this what we doing? So this whole time she cheating with a fucking clanker? Oh my gosh. How did I not know this? This is fucked up, man. Oh hell nah, bruh. Is we dead ass? Nah, bro, come on,
A
bro.
step
What's
further
up?
and grabbing his face and telling him that she believes that he can change one day and that he'll actually be able to set himself free from Robotnik's control. And at the bottom here, she even tells him that he's more than just a machine. And I think I finally understand that.
Okay, so what the fuck happened after this? Like, I guess Eggman took control again. You know what I mean? But like, I could have sworn Metal Sonic has been under control since the womb. Like, I don't, how the fuck? This is obviously fan animated, you know, but
Metal
still.
may actually believe that he is Sonic because that's partially what his original programming was anyway. I also believe that Amy's words are kind of what set this into motion. I believe that Amy is basically the reason that Metal was able to break free of Eggman's control, and on a darker note, probably the reason that he was able to actually get that lucky blow on Sonic.
Okay, so that right there though, it's like, why the fuck did you have to kill Sonic? You know what I mean? Like, you could have just been cool with him. You ain't have to kill my boy. You feel me? Like, what's up, man? Like, that's the thing I don't fuck with, bro. You could have killed Eggman. Everybody would have fucked with you. You know what I'm saying? What's good, my boy? You would have been a part of the crew, bruh. But instead, you want to slime out the boy Hedgehog. Like, what's up, man? Like, that's not cool, bro. Like, that's not cool.
Amy basically gave Metal the ability to believe that he could be more than simply a robot. And I believe that she comes to this realization in this final panel, which is why she looks so panicked. She realizes that she had a big role in the death of Sonic. Pound for pound, I think that this AU is amazing and it has a very cool premise to it. I'm excited to see how they actually end this one off because I know there are some bad endings as well. My favorite one so far is the one where Tails actually realizes one day that Metal has played him and he finally wakes up to reality, but at that point it's kind of too late. And even though Tails is kind of realizing that he doesn't have anything left, right? Like, he's giving up his friends, Sonic is gone, Metal comes and hugs him and says, hey, you still have me. And while there are a few other ones, I'll leave you guys to go find those if you're interested. I'm also curious to see what happens with Shadow because I don't think that him or Knuckles, for that matter, are gonna let this slide, even if Metal does turn out to be a good guy.
Get back season!
I think they'll kind of always be at war with him. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out this video on the screen.
Man, they need to jump that nigga in his sleep, bro. I don't give a fuck, bro. Fuck that nigga. Holy fuck. The fact AU is not involving any type of demon, its Metal Sonic makes this scarier. Oh my gosh. Little correction, he did go back to Eggman, but after seeing hallucination of Amy speaking to him, he turned Eggman to bloody mush. To be honest, I think the song was in this situation. I had some way to communicate. You tell everyone, yes, he killed me, but hey, it was my fault. I let my guard down. I don't blame him. And Metal, take care of everyone for me, yeah. I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. Metal gotta go. That's just that soon. But nobody can replace the GOAT. You know what I mean? No can. Anyways, man, hope y'all enjoyed this reaction, bro. If y'all did, make sure you hit that subscribe button, bro. And turn on post notifications and hit that like button. And yeah, bro, with that being said, also check out my Discord link in bio. And yeah. Just remember, Jesus loves you. And I'll see y'all later. Peace. This video over.